did not award a penalty to West Ham for a challenge by De Ligt on Ings. The VAR then deemed was sufficient contact on Ings' lower leg and recommended an on-field review. The referee overturned his original decision and awarded a penalty. I mean, that is one point, Alan. The other question is, we know VAR, as Howard Webb keeps telling us, is there for clear and obvious howlers.
Yes.
Is that anywhere near that category?
Nowhere near.
No.
Nowhere near.
And what will happen is Eric Ten Hag and all his players will be absolutely raging. He'll do the interview after the game and he'll be blaming that on the result. But you also have to look at other parts of the game. And he needs to blame his forwards for not taking their 5 or 6 clear-cut chances in the first half. Having said that, it doesn't take anything away from that. That, for me, is an awful decision. It really is.
But we know. You know that when you miss chances like that, those are the things that can happen to you.
I mean, he's so unlucky, isn't he, the manager?
Yeah.
You know, all the chances they've missed in the first half, then they get back in the game and then that gets awards against them.
It's not about the manager today, is it?
Well, of course it's not about the manager, but the buck stops with the manager in the end. When they put in performances like a late victory against Brentford, then they come to West Ham and lose, well, it's just a matter of time before this situation changes, isn't it? He's like dead man walking, poor Eric Ten Hag, and then he's faced with that. He picks his best team out and they contrive to miss chance after chance after chance. And then someone who's sitting in a booth somewhere gives him a penalty. I mean, it was an awful decision. And unfortunately, it'll be less about Lopetegui's team and it'll be all the talk will be about that awful decision.
OK.
We dominated that first half and then to see the result end the way it is so heartbreaking. How do you look and reflect overall at that performance?
Football is not always the best team winning, and today that is the perfect example. Today there was only one team who deserved the win. We played very good football, in and out of position, dominating the opponent, creating chances. The only thing, if you want to win, and that is already longer an issue with us, we have to score. And then the second thing what we have to do better is look in the mirror, keep calm, keep focus head in front of the goal. And then of course in the end you lose the game. That's very frustrating. After we make one mistake, we're losing the game, we return, we show again that we are a resilient team. And then the penalty situation where the refereeing has a big impact on the score, on this result as well.
You are right, obviously it did have a huge impact on the score and the team did show that fight at the end, but it wasn't enough. How much does this team need to keep fighting and keep that strong mentality that you always are so vocal about?
It's very difficult because it feels so injustice, but still now we show even more character. If so much is going against us, and then you have to stay together and keep fighting and keep the spirit. But of course, when you are winning games like then it's a motivation, it's fuel, and that gives a team confidence and a strong belief, and then you can make steps forward. And now we stay where we are, we go back and we have to deal with this disappointment and this frustration, but we will do. We are strong, the staff is strong, the players are strong, and we will keep fighting for Man United, and we will go again on Wednesday.
And as you said there, we will keep fighting. There is this game on Wednesday, but how much does this team, yourself, the rest of the staff fight and want the best for the fans for these results?
But we have seen that every time we gather ourselves up, bring high levels, play good football, creating chances, concede no chances, and just the one thing, what is missing, we have to score more goals.
Thank you very much, Eric.
You're welcome.
And then VAR intervened. Terrible, terrible decision. We'll try and analyse the game as best we can. We've got Alex Bruce, Wes Brown with us in the studio here. And I know we are to blame in part, Wes, because we should have taken our chances. We said at half-time, you have to be clinical, and it was a much different second half to the first. But still, we're all going to be talking about the big talking point, the penalty award. For you, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, listen, it was a coming together. That was it. You know, there was no quickness in it. They're not running at each other. There wasn't a crazy swipe. It's a coming together. You know, I think that's how the ref seen it at the beginning. For some reason, VAR have got involved and made him go over. And he's looked at it for a long time, by the way. But there's no pace in it. And for me, it's a ridiculous decision to give the pen.
I mean, we're just taking a small sample size here, but Lou Macari in radio commentary said absolutely not a penalty, joke decision. Wes, you agree? Can we make it a hat-trick with another former Premier League player, Brucey, here?
It was absolutely ridiculous. I actually feel angry for Eric and the lads, because sometimes football can be cruel, and it was today. Yes, you say that they should have took their chances, which they did, and on the run of play, Manchester United, for me, were by far the better team. But when your luck's against you, these things happen. And like you say, Sulla, we've got all the mod cons, the technology, everything is there now for everyone to use. It's the people making the decisions. And you can clearly see from two lads who've played football before and been in that situation, it's two players coming together. And there was hardly any, like Wes says, there wasn't a leg stuck out, there wasn't a rashness to the challenge, it wasn't violent. And if anything, if De Ligt actually goes down, like Danny Ings did, it would have been interesting to see which way he would give the decision. Yeah. I think because Danny Ings has gone to the floor and he's made a meal of the collision, that's what's obviously given the referee a decision to make, but a really, really bad decision. It's absolutely terrible, and to be fair to David Coote, he got it right at first. He didn't award it. VAR then made him question himself, and for me, that epitomises what's wrong with refereeing right now. They're scared to make decisions on the pitch, possibly because they'll get shown up by VAR. And then when they do make decisions, they have to continuously review those decisions. It's a shambles.
Yeah, listen, I think that one, the decision was right, what the ref made. But obviously his colleagues have thought different and put a lot of, regardless of what people say, they put a lot of pressure on the ref then to run over, and he was looking at that for a good while, by the way.
He didn't know then, he was questioning himself. You could sort of almost see it in him.
Is he able to talk to the other people at the time? Right, okay. So yeah, he
can hear VAR.
He's talking to them, and I don't know what they're saying to him, obviously, but they've put a lot of pressure on him, maybe to give it.
The thing for me though is when he goes over to the monitor, he can see his own decision anyway.
Yeah.
And for me, as a referee, you should be able to go over there and be strong enough to say, no, I'm sorry, I was right. I don't think
it never happens, does it?
It never happens. It's like they've got to respect one another's opinions, and because they've said you've got to go over to the monitor, they have to go with the decision from Stockley Park. I think it's an absolute nonsense. I think someone needs to break the mould and stick to their original decision
100%
quickly, and I think it'll be for the good of the game as well.
Probably what will happen next is there'll be some kind of apology from the referee or the association, and they'll say, oh, actually, maybe we did get it wrong, and that's meaningless now because this game's gone and the points have escaped us.
Listen, and that's how it goes. We've seen it. I don't think it will change as well. You know, these decisions, decision makers will still be the same. When they have got it wrong, all they do is come out and say, you know, we got that one wrong.
Yeah.
But again, it can happen.
That was Bruno's red card when that got rescinded. But we should have won the game by our own efforts. In that first half, we had so many chances. Diogo's missed an open goal. He'll be the first to admit not one of his better days in the United shirt. It's been so good, so consistent. Other chances spurned. If you're not clinical and don't take big chances, how can you win games?
We've been there. It's one of those horrible days where you play well, you create chances, and you just don't get the rub of the green on the day, and that was the case for Manchester United. What with the chances they missed, the penalty decision at the end, I'm sure Eric and his staff will go home tonight and think, just wasn't our day. And
so Eric's shaking his head at the end. He couldn't believe it.
You have them. And I think if Lopetegui goes home and watches the game back, he'll think we got away with one today. We had that little bit of lady luck on our side. And when things aren't going your way, you have times in your career like it. It's important that they stick together, ride out the storm, and if they keep hitting the levels of performance like they did in the first half and maintaining them levels, they'll get through this tough patch.
That hurts more broadly because it's such a controversial way to lose the game. But it's definitely going to hurt the players including Lisandro Martinez, who's speaking with Zara.
So, Lisandro, there are so many emotions to take away from that game. How are you feeling?
Feeling very disappointed. For me, I hate to lose. I hate losing that. In this club, it's not what we want. The expectations are really high for sure. We want to win every game. But now it's time to accept it, to be honest with ourselves and to keep moving.
We can tell just obviously with how you're talking how much this club means to you and how much effort that you want to put in to obviously fix this. What do you think were the key factors that need to be improved from today's game going into Wednesday?
I want the best for this club, and I'm pretty sure that this club will be in the top, and we will give everything to put this club in where they deserve. And I'm so frustrated, honestly. I'm so frustrated because I see every day our skills, our quality, and then those days that we finish a game, we lose, we miss many chances again, and it's difficult to accept it, but we have to, and yeah, we have to accept it. That's it.
And I just said we have to accept it. We see how much you all hurt with this, and when you hurt, you fight even harder to obviously correct it and get those results. How much will you and the rest of the team fight for the fans to give them what they deserve?
Everyone fights, and we give everything, but I think we have to give more. And we have to know that football is a mental game, and we have to keep believe until the end, being hunger. Today we played very good first half, and then the second half we drop. Then we concede the 2 goals, and we couldn't win the game. And yes, I'm so disappointed today, honestly.
Thank you very much for talking to me.
You can see it in his face and hear it in his voice there, Martinez, being so disappointed, which all of the lads in that dressing room will be feeling.
I'm sure he echoes every single one of them in the dressing room. They'll all be disappointed, and we've been there, haven't you? As players, you have games like that where you feel as if what can you do to win a game of football when you totally dominate the game? And like I keep saying, they just need to keep together, ride this little bad patch out, and hopefully that little bit of luck will turn. But they just need to be more clinical in front of goal, and that's where you earn your bread and butter, isn't it? And it's been the Achilles heel so far this season. It's been an example of that again today, but they just need to keep maintaining the chances, keep creating them, and hopefully you think things will change.
Is it easier, or should you even be doing it, to blame the controversial penalty for the result instead of looking at yourselves for not converting the multiple chances we had?
No, I think it'd be frustration. I think everyone understands football. Sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it doesn't. But you know, considering that, you'd be frustrated with it. But ultimately, you know, okay, we've played well today, but we've got to do more. We've got to work more. We need to change the luck into our hands. We need to punish teams when we're on top. And that's what you'd be thinking about. Obviously, the decision today, you know, that's football in general nowadays. So sometimes it goes for you, sometimes it goes against. Today it was a bad one, it was against. But you look at your game performance, how you played as a team, you'd be happy but disappointed because you know football. You need to.
He was 14th in the Premier League. It's not a good table to look at the moment, Wes.
Yeah, it's not, and I don't think that game today shows the position we're in. Very dominant. I would say that, you know, when you are dominant like that in the first time, you've just got to be more clinical. It wasn't our day in that area. So the positives going forward is, listen, the lads know they can create chances. We've now just got to be confident to put them in the back of the net, because second half comes, something's going to change. Yeah. It's going to change a few players like he did, and it's completely changed the game a little bit. It was a little bit more, you know, that they got a little bit more better focus from it. You could see it was a little bit of a different team coming out, and they put a little bit of pressure on us. And then now it's like a new game. You know, you can't then go, well, let's just do what we did in the first half. It's a new game completely, because we dominated that much in the first half, and that's where we've got to be just better at putting it in the back of the net, because and this is the point about football, anything can happen, and we don't want it to get to that point.
Yeah. I think Lopetegui deserves a lot of credit as well, because I think he realised United were totally dominant in the first half, and he was brave. He made 3 substitutions at half-time, which is a big call from him, but he obviously, that's that's a reflection on the first half performance. He needed to change it because he knows that if they go and play like they did in the second half, the way they played the first, United would have run away with it. So fair play to him for making the change. I think Somerville came on and made a difference. So did Souček.
Yeah.
But,
we'll have to just finish this part of the show here and try and get some reaction. And we'll chat more about this because we're all really annoyed about the result. But we'll chat about that in Matchday Review, which follows. Welcome to Matchday Review, where everybody is in agreement it wasn't a penalty and that West Ham have got away with one today. Wes Brown and Alex Bruce with me here. Wes, you can look at it two ways, can't you? We should have done the business today. We had enough opportunities to have won a couple of games of football, but didn't take them. And in the end, get beaten by a West Ham team who were pretty poor, really. They were better in the second half, to be fair, but not a great West Ham team. But ultimately, it's a decision, a strange decision by VAR, which has affected the tie.
Listen, that's why the neutral loves the Premier League. But today, as a Man United fan, we should have had the game wrapped up at half-time. We had enough chances, we created enough chances to put the ball in the back of the net. Not necessarily not necessarily over and done with, but at least 2-3-0 up, and that's just being truthful. Then to the second half, where again there's not much in it. They made a few changes, got into the game. The game was a bit more even. They score, then we score, but then to get the penalty with for me, a coming together is ridiculous, and we've managed to lose the game. But like you said, we should have had that wrapped up in the first half. The lads would be absolutely devastated with it. I'm sure there'd be more to come afterwards as well from maybe a couple of the players and the manager as well on the penalty. But again, we just have to learn to do the business in the first half.
Yeah.
We go away disappointed again.
We played so well in that first half. Great performance from Garnacho on the wing. He was looking really lively. Højlund was effective going through the middle there. Casemiro was excellent as well in that first half. So too Bruno. There was so much to be pleased with, other than the nature of our finishing in the first 45 minutes.
That'll be the most frustrating thing for Eric and his staff, because they were totally dominant in the first half. When you think of the chances that they created, hitting the woodwork twice, Bruno's header, the one we spoke about with Højlund, where the ball just runs away with him. They had such great opportunities to score.
Yeah.
And then the obvious one with Dalot, where he rounds the keeper and misses the target. So when you look at that, away from home, to have them glorious 5 or 6 really, really big opportunities to score and not take one will be the frustrating thing for Eric. But then to go into the second half, I think the West Ham manager deserves a lot of credit. He changed it. He made 3 changes at half-time, and it was for the better from a West Ham point of view. They were a lot more disciplined, weren't as open in the second half. Somerville gave them something a little bit different on the left in terms of pace to go forward to give Manchester United a problem. But overall, United were by far the better team.
Why VAR awarded West Ham controversial penalty against Manchester United? Manchester United fans were left seething after VAR intervened and awarded West Ham a decisive late penalty in Sunday's controversial Premier League clash. After missing a series of gilt-edged chances, particularly in the first half, United looked likely to pay for their profligacy when Crescencio Somerville prodded the hosts into a 78th-minute lead. To their credit, Erik ten Hag's side, who had been in Europa League action on Thursday night, rallied and looked to have salvaged a point when Casemiro headed United back on terms with 9 minutes remaining. It was not to be, however, as the Red Devils slumped to another defeat, albeit in hugely contentious circumstances. Referee David Coote initially saw little wrong with De Ligt's challenge on Danny Ings, but after he was ordered to take a second look by Michael Oliver, the match official reversed his decision. Jarrod Bowen stepped up, kept his composure and beat Andre Onana from the spot to seal a much-needed win for the Hammers, who have made an underwhelming start to life under Julen Lopetegui. United, meanwhile, were left baffled by the decision of officiating team and were left none the wiser by the explanation offered by the Premier League Match Centre account on X. The referee did not award a penalty to West Ham for a challenge by De Ligt on Ings, read the message. The VAR deemed there was sufficient contact on Ings' lower leg and recommended an on-field review. The referee overturned his original decision and awarded a penalty. Asked about the incident after the game, a frustrated Erik ten Hag said it was so difficult to see. Before the season there was the instruction about VAR only interfering in clear and obvious mistakes. That is definitely not a clear and obvious mistake from the on-field referee. More frustrations, but I can do nothing with that. They don't collect points, and that's what we have to do. We have to look in the mirror. We don't score in a good game from our side. Create loads of chances and concede none, but when you lose in this way it's a bad feeling. I spoke with them, he added when asked if he had spoken to the officials. But the decision is made. There's no way back, and that's football. That's a third time I have felt injustice in the season, and it has a big impact on our team and on our scores and where we are in the table. It's not right.